Remember how CSGO used to have official Valve-made co-op maps? Well, keep remembering, cause we're probably not getting them in CS2 anytime soon. And looking at the workshop, there aren't many community ones either. I mean, it makes sense, CS2 mapping tools haven't been out for too long and people are still mastering them. But I think anyone who played any good co-op maps will agree that this game mode is tons of fun and truly has a lot of potential even going forward into CS2's future. So today I decided to go back and check out a couple of classic CSGO co-op maps to see if there's anything we can learn from them to make better maps today. I fondly remember Rush, Headquarters, Fairfax, Submerged and many more. Though one really stood out to me. Released nearly 10 years ago, not only did its gameplay hold up surprisingly well, I feel like it's designed to great advantage of some core Counter-Strike features and dynamics that other co-op maps actively ignored. And I even got to interview its creator, and even uncover the 10-year-old mystery in it. I'm talking about... Alrighty, let's do a commented playthrough type situation, but not a let's play, I swear. We first of all get into the setup room. That's basically the first area of any co-op map where we wait for players to connect and as well can set up some initial settings like music and difficulty. Often these rooms were just blank, purely for setup, but here we have this nice thematic bar situation with physics-based bar stools and everything. Anyway, this map supports up to 8 players, but since setting up a CSGO server in 2025 is a pain, I'll just play through it alone. For the same reason, I'll also put the map in the easiest difficulty, cause it's seriously hard enough even with a full lobby. Now, before we head out, we should get some equipment. Once again, unlike most other maps that just give you the starting weapons as they are, there's actually a buy zone here, and the map gives us a very limited amount of money to work with. Similarly to regular comp pistol rounds, there are many combinations worth trying. My personal favorite is full armor and grenades. Alright, let's go. I must say, I love this early CSGO aesthetic. It's probably just nostalgia, but I truly feel like this pink lighting and these very minimalistic visuals have a certain charm to them. Now, going in, as you might have noticed, this map is inspired by Hotline Miami. Seemingly it's just the core premise of getting vague phone calls and shooting up random buildings full of Russian gangsters, but there is a bit more to it. For example, the level design here is quite linear, with consistent enemy placements. Like, I knew that there was a guy in this truck and that there's 3 more outside. This might sound boring, having the same setup each run, but I think it actually makes the map more interesting. With its fun coming from the variety of ways I can complete and master the same setup in the same area. Kinda how Hotline Miami forces you to master the game over many attempts of the same level, but also sort of how CS players can play the same map a million times and never get bored. The similarities between the two don't end here. In both games, all of the players and enemies are very vulnerable and often die in just one hit. Future CSGO maps found this to be problematic, since instantly dying from an enemy you didn't expect was very frustrating, and they added new features like heavy armor that lets you tank an absurd amount of damage to combat that. While Hotline Co-op instead comes up with a genius, elegant solution that I'll mention in just a bit. This roof area is the last part of the level. I remember there was this speedrun strat you could use here, though I don't think any actual speedruns of the map ever used it. Yeah, there was a small speedrun scene for this map with people uploading runs as recently as last year. Truly shows how beloved it is. And we're done. Another element taken from Hotline Miami is the walk back to the car. I really love this feature there, and I also love it here. After tens and tens of tries to complete this level under constant stress and fire, for once you can just walk through it, letting you truly appreciate the carnage you unleashed onto this place, with this almost relaxing atmosphere, in big part thanks to the amazing Hotline Miami soundtrack. Back at the car you'll find out that the map isn't over. There are more phone calls and more buildings to shoot up. And this is the genius part I mentioned prior. Let's break it down. So it split itself into 3 distinct levels, with each one being kind of like a round of regular Counter-Strike game. And they achieve everything that a player might need. Instead of finding random medkits and ammo boxes lying around the map, you just refill your HP and ammo at the start of the new round. Instead of finding conveniently placed armor and grenades, you can just access the shop and get what you need. And instead of teammates just respawning out of thin air in the middle of the mission, they respawn when a new round begins, cause that just makes so much more sense. Basically, even though all of the new features Valve added for their maps work, CS isn't really designed for huge 20-minute missions. Hotline's shorter, round-based approach solves the problem while being more intuitive and just more coherent with the classic Counter-Strike gameplay. And in general, just makes more sense. I'm not saying that this is the way all co-op maps should be, but I think how this one did it here is uniquely Counter-Strike. Works very well, and I haven't seen it done this way on any other map, so maybe it's something to consider trying. And as you see, I'm already making my way through the second level. It's pretty much just more of the first one, but the enemies are better equipped, and I'd say there is a bit more long-range encounters. While I'm doing that, let's talk a bit about the creator of this map. His name is Mofane. I think that's how it's spelled. He kindly took the time to answer some of my questions, and I found his story to be quite interesting. He and his friends actually started playing Counter-Strike because of co-op maps. Apparently they really enjoyed the one by CTX, which makes sense, they were great and he's pretty much the grandfather of everything to do with co-op in CS. I honestly deserves a separate whole video just about him. But yeah, it's kinda wild to think that people were buying CS back when it used to cost money just to play some co-op maps. Though that also kinda proves the merit of the game mode. Anyway, inspired by the maps he played, Mofane went on to create many of his own, including Railway, Headquarters, Vault, Uchi, and of course, Hotline. But interestingly enough, even though his later maps went absolutely crazy, with tons and tons of custom mechanics, basically recreating the whole of Payday 2 as a CSGO map, Hotline remained as his most successful one, which he thinks is in big part for reasons I already mentioned. I saw many people requesting him to remake Hotline co-op for CS2, but he told me that as he and his friends played CS less and less over the years, his interest in the game waned. He really enjoyed making the technical side of the maps, like all of the scripts required to make the custom features work, but found detailing and optimizing a chore, which honestly I can understand. Eventually he moved on from mapping for CS into modding for another co-op game, Risk of Rain 2, and found a lot of success there. I even asked him if he ever considered making a co-op game of his own, and he told me to stay tuned. Damn. Alright, while I was yapping we completed level 2 and are already deep inside of level 3. It's set in this very appropriately named Club Suka and is much more challenging than the 2 levels prior. Firstly because of the absurd amount of enemies everywhere, but also because it's so dark, even getting to the point of feeling unfair, but considering it's a nightclub level that is playing Le Perv on full volume, I can forgive it. And Mofane told me that this level was his favorite to work on, even though he admits that the first one definitely plays the best. Perhaps being first it got the most playtesting and feedback, which caused it to be so fun and balanced. But as a final challenge, I still respect the third level a lot. And past these rooms filled with guys with machine guns, we finally get to execute the boss behind whatever's going on here. And for one last time, we get to walk back to the car. Overall, I had a blast playing this map. I think its apparent simplicity, in combination with its unique emphasis on core Counter-Strike features, really makes it stand out, even today. And though Mofane isn't coming back to Counter-Strike, we have many new aspiring mappers trying their hands and making co-op maps, which gives me lots of hope for this game mode. I asked Mofane if he has any advice on co-op mapping, and he told me that the key is making a map that you yourself enjoy playing, and finding people that enjoy playing it with you. He shared a story about how once he met a group of players that wanted to play his Vault map with him basically all day, every day for a month straight, which gave him endless motivation to continue updating it and balancing it. And even though this by all means was a relatively small experience, he considers it to be a high point of his mapping career. This is very wholesome and pretty much concludes my yap fest about Hotline co-op. Wait. While recording the footage for this video, I noticed some weird rooms that weren't accessible during my playthrough. I did a bit of digging and I just had my mind blown. This map, for all of these 10 years, had a secret 4th level with a secret ending. That's just insane, I had no idea. Apparently on each level we can find these 50 blessings graffitis that signify that there is a book somewhere nearby. On the first level it's here, on second one here, and on third one here. After getting all of them, this secret room opens, and interacting with the computer inside unlocks the 4th level.
Thank you for your service. As promised, here's your surprise.
This is so cool. Once again, this has been here for nearly 10 years and I think very few people know about it. I'm at a loss for words. Mofane, you're the GOAT.